37 years since its premiere, Dirty Dancing remains in a chokehold over a lot of us. The classic 1987 film propelled Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey into stardom. But did you know that it was nearly never released? That is correct. The most romantic movie of the 80s was on the verge of being dropped. And the reasons why, plus a few underappreciated scenes from the film, are unbelievable. Luckily, we're here to break everything down and expose all the unnoticed secrets of the hidden Dirty Dancing scenes. Movie title: if record-breaking films have anything in common, it's that there's inevitably some kind of squabble over the title. Consider, for example, the dispute over the title switch for the 1990 film Pretty Woman, which would otherwise have been titled $3,000. But before Richard Gere and Julia Roberts took their turns on our screens and stole our hearts with their act, there was Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey with Dirty Dancing. During the period when the movie was released in the late 1980s, on-screen nudity and salacious titles were a big issue. Of course, producers attempted to avoid anything that could possibly get the general population in an uproar. But the movie producers didn't have any idea that the title Dirty Dancing was a little bit salacious. It was so much of a controversy, in fact, that the censorship officers deliberated as they first thought it was an X-rated film. The film had been inspired by the actual experiences of the screenwriter Eleanor Bergstein, and she afterwards revealed in an interview that border authorities in Canada had delayed the dailies because they thought it was an X-rated movie. The studio was also quite insistent upon what the title should be, and Dirty Dancing was therefore maintained. Patrick Swayze, however, wasn't very pleased with the result. In his opinion, he had hated the title of the film and even struggled to ensure it was not given that title. He complained about his grievances in an interview with journalist Bobby Wygant in 1987, in which he confessed that he hated the title Dirty Dancing and would have preferred it to be titled otherwise. He added that that was what the studio went with, and unfortunately, they were stuck publicizing a movie with a title the actors didn't even like. Well, we're not sure how to feel about Patrick's grievances considering the other title option was I Was a Teenage Mambo Queen. So, yeah, let's just thank goodness they finally decided upon the original title. The title battle was not the only danger to the Dirty Dancing film that we love and recognize, because there were more extreme alterations that would have reshaped the film out of all recognition. And this one might have been the most significant. Other actors. It is not uncommon to be told that a part nearly went to another actor. But when that role earns millions of dollars and catapults an actor in a staggering popularity, folks can't help but speculate who could have let their opportunity to be the next television sensation pass them by. The part of brooding dance teacher Johnny Castle in Dirty Dancing comes to mind. Actors Billy Zane, Benicio del Toro, and Val Kilmer were all options prior to Patrick's selection for the role that catapulted him into superstardom. Interestingly, Patrick had trained at both the Harkness and Joffrey Ballet schools extensively and was much a shoe-in for the role. Nevertheless, he had issues of his own that may have prevented the casting process. Actually, Patrick was almost not in the movie at all, as it had been finalized when shooting started that Johnny would be played by Billy Zane. In the end, he was released when the producers realized he did not have any chemistry with Jennifer Grey. It is also reported that the director was steadfast in insisting that they hire dancers like Patrick, who were able to act as well since he did not want to resort to using the stand-in technique. Likewise, prior to Jennifer herself being cast as Baby, other actresses like Sarah Jessica Parker and Winona Ryder-Red for the role. Jennifer subsequently disclosed that she was being paid $50,000 for the film, a low price given the eventual success of the movie. In addition, even though she had past experience working with Patrick in Red Dawn, Jennifer, who like her co-star was not a professional dancer, confessed she was afraid to dance with him. She revealed that in a 2016 interview in which she mentioned Patrick was an excellent dancer and he was not afraid. In her words, his fearlessness combined with my fearfulness, like his lack of Jewishness and my super Jewishness, created a dynamic that was almost like a marriage of opposites. He'd do anything, and I'd be scared to do anything. Seeing how they got along in the movie, one would never imagine that there was initially tension between the two leads, and they often clashed due to their different approaches to acting. Patrick himself explained these early disputes in his 2009 memoir, The Time of My Life. He said that Jennifer appeared especially emotional, sometimes erupting into tears if someone told her she was doing something wrong. On occasion, she crept into silly moods, making them repeat scenes over and over again when she'd break out laughing. This tension existed on set, and the film crew had to struggle to maintain the chemistry between the characters on screen despite off-screen tensions. However, this tension itself helped foster the real on-screen chemistry between the actors that audiences adored. The tug-of-war between Patrick's confidence and Jennifer's vulnerability made their relationship richer and the eventual connection more engaging. Surprisingly, Dirty Dancing was a huge success, and both of the actors' performances were a huge success, with Patrick's casting as Johnny Castle making him a heartthrob and a household name, and Jennifer's performance as Baby becoming iconic. Looking back, it's difficult to picture anyone else playing their roles, or Dirty Dancing being anything else. The casting and the backstage relationships seem almost destiny. So much so that they can't even imagine any other actors doing the roles the way the original pair did. For many, it's a captivating reminder that the perfect combination of talent, timing, and even a little bit of tension can create cinematic history. Unscripted scenes. There's no denying that from start to finish, Dirty Dancing leaves its audience filled with joy and nostalgia. However, it's now well known that the behind-the-scenes atmosphere was far from the cheerful mood seen on screen. We've already mentioned that the main actors had some trouble getting along at first, and because of this and other factors, the filming experience was full of challenges. To illustrate, one of the very best scenes in the movie is the musical montage of Johnny and Baby practicing the mambo for their grand performance, and Johnny running his fingers down Baby's arm. This scene, brimming with Baby's rolling laughter and Johnny's growing irritation, was not rehearsed at all. Shocking, right? Actually, Jennifer's laughter was not faked, as she was actually ticklish. You may be wondering if Patrick's annoyance was real too, and yes, it was really so. Producer Linda Gottlieb explained they hadn't even recalled having that shot, because afterward they shot another take of the exact same scene in which Jennifer didn't laugh. It was in the editing that their dance editor stumbled on the version we all know and love. Linda remembered how, when they originally saw it, everyone erupted in laughter, so they decided to show the clip to Jennifer and Patrick. When the two saw it, they too burst into laughter right away. The laughter was not only because the scene was so cute and humorous, but also because everyone had totally forgotten that the moment ever existed. Later, they loved it so much that they decided to put it in the movie, and voila, it became one of the most iconic moments in film history. Another improvised scene that got featured in the film is the cute dance sequence in which Johnny and Baby dance along to Mickey and Sylvia's Love is Strange. You may be shocked to know that this heartwarming moment was not scripted as well. In reality, the actors themselves did not even know that cameras were rolling when they rehearsed the next scene. That's how their spontaneous exchange and real chemistry were caught on camera, adding a spontaneous and heartfelt feel to the film. Nevertheless, apart from those happy casual moments, the entire filming experience was challenging due to the extreme shooting weather and Patrick and Jennifer's off-screen relationship. Eventually, the completed movie turned out to be one that generations would adore in years to come. It gets you thinking whether we would still have such classic scenes if the actors were different. Certainly not. Cold temperatures. As far as the shooting conditions for Dirty Dancing go, one cannot help but remember the iconic lake lift scene, an experience that marked the turning point for Patrick and Jennifer, who grew close as they suffered through the grueling process. That scene, however, is not what it seems. Shooting commenced on September 5, 1986, and completed within 43 days, but the production encountered numerous challenges, which included adverse weather. While the film appears warm and sunny, behind the camera it was scorching. Outside temperature soared to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, and on the set it became even more unbearable, going up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit as a result of the lights and equipment. Choreographer Kenny Ortega remembered that one day, when they were shooting, 10 individuals passed out within 25 minutes of actual shooting. Seasoned actress Paula Truman, who played Mrs. Schumacher, also fainted and was taken to a nearby hospital due to dehydration. Patrick also required medical attention, as his commitment to performing his own stunts resulted in several falls off the log during the balance scene, injuring his knee severely and necessitating fluid drainage. Although the lift scene was proving hard to capture on film, it served to highlight the actor's determination and commitment to perfection. Jennifer recalled that scene in her 2022 memoir, Out of the Corner, where she disclosed that she and Patrick had preserved the legendary lift for the climactic final dance scene because they wanted it to be perfectly captured. "What you see between us in that scene was also real," she wrote. "Real gratitude, real respect, real care. If that's not love, what is?" Ultimately, all of the troubles of shooting were well worth it. The reality of their feelings and the chemistry between the two central actors extended beyond the screen and contributed to cementing the film's enduring legacy. Discussing weather conditions during shooting, the set designers were forced to go the extra mile to maintain the illusion of summer. So how did they achieve that in the dead of winter? Summertime. Due to delays in production, filming on Dirty Dancing continued into the fall, and the crew had to come up with creative methods to maintain the warm summer atmosphere of Kellerman's camp. Actually, scenes were shot during autumn in real life, so they had to use their imagination. They spray-painted the leaves and grass green to simulate a summer atmosphere. But the biggest test of all was the temperature. The classic swimming sequence, which has since become iconic, was shot in October when the water in the lake had cooled to a numbing 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Although her characters seemed to be having fun, Jennifer herself later admitted that the water was horrifically cold and that she got through it only because she was young and hungry. Patrick also discussed the freezing ordeal in his autobiography, stating the lake was horrifyingly hypothermically cold and that they had to reshoot the scene multiple times. The lake scene where Johnny picks up Baby was a frustrating and draining ordeal, made worse by Patrick's on-set injuries. In spite of having a ballet and modern dance background, the high-level choreography tested him to the limits. Yet his determination to provide a genuine performance resulted in one of the most memorable sequences in movie history, the lake lift, despite the sub-zero temperature. The challenges did not stop there. Patrick's extensive dance training throughout his life was stretched to the very limit as he struggled to perfect every step.